This is a story that sort of centers on Phil Mickelson's predilection for gambling. It seems like. Walk us through what happened here.
So these guys were golf buddies. Walters and Davis apparently knew each other from living near a golf course and being a part of the same club way back when. They became friends. Mickelson also was somehow related to these folks and had certainly played golf with Walters. They also like to gamble, apparently, and that was maybe Mickelson's problem with all of this. He owed some money to Walters at one point, and he also benefited from some of the tips that came from Davis to Walters, and then some of them went also to Mickelson.
U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara calling this a brazen scheme. What does he mean by that?
You know, this wasn't a one-off. This isn't one time, somebody gave him a heads up about something. This was systematic over years, earnings call after earnings call, spin-off, another company's looking to do an acquisition. In each of those cases, they've created a whole little network here. We'll give you a prepaid phone. We'll have some code words for how we communicate this, and we'll execute it in such a way for big profits. Walters is accused of netting $43 million.
Phil Mickelson here, a relief defendant. Help us out with that terminology here. He has not been charged
That's right.
with insider trading.
He's not named by the prosecutors at all. He is named in an SEC complaint in which he's not being sued, but he's agreeing to pay back the money he got. I think of this a little bit. Sometimes we'll see a case in which a family member trades on some information that was passed, but wasn't part of the scheme. It was an inadvertent action. So the money, was questionable in how it was earned, but not part of the original scheme. So that's what they're calling a relief defendant in this case. And I think Mickelson is probably very happy to pay this money and have it all go away with no legal entanglements.
Going back to that trade, what was it that caused Dean Foods' stock to spike the next day?
So it's not just one, there's bunches of them.
Yeah.
He was getting early information on earnings more than once, multiple times. He also got early information about a possible spin-off of the company. All of this was non-public and was being passed by Davis. You have to remember, he's chairman of the board. He certainly knew he had a fiduciary duty, and he was passing that on to Walters. Davis had money troubles at various points, and he was benefiting, which is why this is a very clear-cut example of insider trading. He was getting money back from Walters for either loans or for capital or for investments, and he too had money issues.
Phil Mickelson, has he commented? He has a good lawyer. He has Barack Obama's former lawyer, Greg Craig, from Skadden.
Yeah.
What's he saying about all this?
He says he's vindicated. He's innocent. He did nothing wrong. Yes, he may have been tipped off, said, hey, go buy a stock, but he had no reason to believe that that was insider information or non-public information. Therefore, he got swept up and benefited from something, but he certainly wasn't part of any scheme.
Today, we had Preet Bharara making an announcement. What did we learn about the criminal case?
So what's interesting, Davis has pled guilty. I mean, in addition to executing all of these tips and sharing of information, he did more than that. He perjured himself when he was questioned about it. He tried to destroy evidence. He took this burner phone and he tried to throw it into water so it'd be destroyed, and prosecutors couldn't get to it. The information stacked up against him so badly. He's cooperating. He's now pled guilty. I don't know what kind of agreement might be reached in terms of his sentence. Walters is fighting this. Walters has said he did nothing wrong. His lawyer says he'll be vindicated. But that will be the next wave, will be a prosecution against Billy Walters.